Welcome to John McGivern's Main Streets, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of this popular TV program.
Sometimes I think my job is so hard.
You'll hear John and his producer Lois Maurer on the drive home as they chat about their impressions of the community and share interesting stories that you may not hear about anywhere else. Today's episode, South Bend, Indiana.
We're on our way home after 8 days.
8 days, that was a long one.
That was a long one. We're leaving South Bend, Indiana.
And it's raining.
It's raining. So
which it's been for the last 3 days.
The noise you hear is not us making popcorn. That's the rain on the windshield. So, that was great. What was your favorite thing of South Bend?
We got some really great interviews, but I'm going to go with Four Winds Field. What about you?
The Studebaker
Okay.
plant.
Well, what I loved about the Four Winds Field is that it's a minor league team for the Cubs, the Chicago Cubs. They're called the South Bend Cubs. And the president, Joe Hart, is probably one of the nicest guys we have ever met. And the stadium is really fantastic.
Yeah.
Like so professional, so well done. He's got all of the trappings. They've got all of the fun that you could go out with your family. And we were there on what day did we go there? Saturday?
Sunday.
Sunday? And it's such a great atmosphere. And it's just really, it's one of those places I would go back and visit on my own.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be allowed back into the place without the key, of the Studebaker plant.
That's true. You do get some special access during this.
Yeah, it was kind of remarkable, I thought.
So the Studebaker plant was, the actual plant they told us was 16 buildings, of which there's one left standing.
There's really two. The plant and the office tower.
The administration, yeah.
The administration building, yeah.
Yeah.
So Kevin Smith, who owns the building now, allowed us access to the roof, and then we went down into the plant, which is kind of remarkable because it looks like they just closed it up and let it sit. And now it's completely empty, except on the fifth floor there was a 1935 Studebaker that has been in the building for quite a while. So,
and there were some other cars under tarps too. Why were they there? Just people storing
because
their
the
cars?
last thing that building was used for was car storage. So people paid to store their cars there.
Oh, and those they just never came and got, or did he inherit them when he bought the building?
He said they're abandoned.
Oh, they're abandoned. Some of them were super cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what's he going to do with that building?
He's going to turn that into a technology center. I loved that. I loved making a charcuterie.
It's a cheese board. Charcuterie is only meat. Didn't know. So your cruise sheets were wrong. Sorry, guys. I thought that's what it was.
Yeah, but it was a tray full of meat, cheese, vegetables.
And it was beautiful. You did a very beautiful job on that.
Oh, well, that's nice. Thanks.
And you know what? She seemed incredibly surprised. She does not know you, because I was like, no, this is going to be perfect, because that's what John does. He's able to arrange things and they'll be perfect. And the cheese, of course, she let us taste it.
Well, it was a very difficult interview, just so you know. And it was difficult because every time she said cut the cheese, I didn't know what to say.
Because you really are 13. I was like, okay, don't go for the low-hanging fruit.
She's like,
don't
would you
go
like
for
to
it.
cut the cheese? And I want to say, I already am. But I didn't.
Thank you for holding that back.
I am 14.
You are.
But that was great because she has a shop that's called Oh Mama's. Is that Oh Mama's on the Avenue? Her name is Jody. And not only does she have the shop, but she has, a farm full of goats that she makes her own cheese from. And she does all of these farmers markets. And she has a, brick
and her
and mortar.
husband. It's not just her, right? Because the company is J2K. And their last name starts with a K.
Want to wear something that's going to support your favorite show? Shop at Main Street Store. proceeds go to help us get next season into production. So come on, go shopping at mainstreets.tv.
What was surprising to you?
About South Bend?
Yeah. I got something.
Oh, you tell me. What surprised you?
The East Race Waterway.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And I still kind of am like, now what? So it's this raging river, which is not really a river. It's a man-made offshoot
of the river.
That was created for power, right? Because
Original.
you make it narrow and then the water has to shoot through a narrow place so it goes faster and harder. And that's why they could make power with the East Race for all those businesses that were in South Bend.
So it was dug up and used for power so many years ago, and then it was filled in, and then they dug it up again, and they turned it into a whitewater rafting in downtown South Bend.
Which, can I tell you, looked so fun. And if we hadn't been on deadline and we could have just gotten wet and changed clothes and been able to continue our day, I would have done it.
We have lifeguards up and down here, so we try to make it a very enjoyable, adventurous experience, but also a safe experience. Yeah. If you've never done it before, come down. We'll provide you with your helmet, your paddle, your life vest. It's just a really unique experience, and that's what we're all about, creating those experiences, that kind of comeback ability in our community.
Yeah,
Gail would have done it.
Not
Jason
me.
would have done it. John was not doing it.
No. It looked frightening to me. I got sick on the Mississippi.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
And motion, I would have first thrown up and then drowned.
Hey, I have to tell you, Notre Dame was surprising to me. When you said what was the most surprising thing, I have not spent any time on that campus because, well, I've never been there. And I, in my limited brain, compare everything to either UWM, Marquette, or Madison.
Okay.
Of which Notre Dame looks nothing like any of the above. Like it's a very different feeling on campus there. It's very compact. It's very homogeneous. It kind of all looks the same. But there's a feeling you get on campus that tradition just soaks right through. When you step on the grounds and you're like, oh, I am walking on a place that's been here since 49 or something?
Yeah, that's about right.
That's something. Yeah.
And that the quad is called God Quad.
Well,
It's like, wow.
It's a Catholic institution.
Mm-hmm.
The God Quad. I loved that. But we did a priest there, Father Austin Collins,
Right.
who was, and the reason we did him was because when we came into town, Emily Annunziata was the associate producer on this one, and Emily and I came to do the site survey. And as we came into South Bend, we saw these sculptures in a roundabout. And immediately I was like, oh, they love public art here in South Bend, and these are really interesting. We met with the people from Visit Indiana, or Visit South Bend, I mean, and they were like, oh, you know who makes those? It's Father Collins from Notre Dame. And I was like, okay, I want to do a story about Notre Dame. I think this is it, because that's pretty unique. So he was a good interview too, wasn't he, John?
Not only was he a great interview and talked about his art and his inspiration, and he works with material that is,
not light.
Not light.
It's all like metal beams and girders, and his stuff is like 30 feet high.
Then he was so kind to show us around. He was in a golf cart with me and Jason, our photographer, and you were in
it was in the Traverse,
the crew Traverse.
Yes.
And we drove on every sidewalk on campus.
It felt so wrong.
I was like, okay, then here he goes.
You guys went ahead on the golf cart, and I was like, you're motioning me to turn, and Gail's sitting next to me, and we're both looking at each other like, should we?
And I want him part of the crew on a permanent basis, because he would stand when John was doing some of the individual stand-ups. He would tell other people around to be quiet.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Directing traffic around us, and I'm like, I want him on the crew forever.
He was
Right.
like Gail's assistant.
He was perfect. He was, and like you said, really kind, and took us places. Like it's not even part of what we wanted to talk to him about, but all I had to say was, we would really love to see Touchdown Jesus. And he was like, get in the golf cart. We're going to Touchdown Jesus.
Right.
To which John was like, what? Never heard of Touchdown Jesus.
It was good.
Yeah, that was really fun. And he took us to, the administration building, which has the gold dome, and of course the Basilica, which is right next door. And if you haven't been to Notre Dame, it's really worth the walk. But the interview that topped them all was Murph, the bartender.
The bartender at Morris.
Roars.
Well, Roars is
that's the name of the bar,
inside
right.
Morris Hall, which is the hotel.
Oh, Morris Inn.
Morris Inn.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is really a hotel that's operated by University of Notre Dame.
Right on campus. It's really cool.
So Murph has been there. He started there in 1966 as a busboy, and he made his way up, and he's a bartender, and he's got all of the stories, and he knows everybody, and everybody knows him, and he's the kindest, nicest, greatest storyteller. It was a treat.
Everybody keeps saying to me, why are you still there? And I said, I do this because of love. And I'm here for the love of Notre Dame.
To you, Murph.
Amen.
Thank you
you
so
very
much.
much.
He has the Notre Dame ring, which I thought was one of his best stories. He's, as you said, he started as like a busboy, and he's a bartender, and everybody knows him. He's like the ambassador to Notre Dame. Because when we called and said, hey, we want to get on campus, the first thing they said to us was, you want to talk to Murph?
Yeah.
I was like, well, I guess we do. And boy, am I glad we did.
Right.
Now, when we first came into South Bend, the first interview that we did was at the South Bend Chocolate Company. That was delicious.
And I loved our
Tour guide?
hostess,
Yes, Amber,
who gives the tours. And I mean, you'll see. She does quite the job, and she's very expressive, and she does
that's a good word.
move like she's a dancer as well. So she has her own show. It was great. And then we talked to, what was the guy's name? Justin.
He was terrific. He's the guy who actually knows what's
been
going
there
on at the
forever,
factory.
and
Yeah, he makes candy.
He runs the plant.
Yes, he does.
So I did some jobs there, didn't I?
Yes, and my favorite one was when you got to stand on the line with the lady who only spoke Spanish. So thank God you speak Spanish. And she's trying to show you how to put the chocolate on the caramel.
She told me it was too thick and too slow. And I said in Spanish, I can understand you. Right here. ¿Demasiado?
Está bien.
She was really funny.
No, yo sé que es tu problema. Dígame, puedo comprender que dices a yo.
What is that? See, and I would just be behind there going, I think she's yelling at him, but that's okay.
She looked at me like, oh.
You're unfortunately
Yo
slow.
siento, es una broma. I'm sorry, it's a joke. Oh, well. That was fun. I had a good time there.
Yeah, that was good.
I loved it. I loved South Bend.
The folks at South Bend, by the way, really helped us out a lot, the Visitors Bureau. When we got to the hotel, they had a little goodie bag for us that had chocolate in there from the South Bend Chocolate Company and candy. And we all compared the flavors that we got. And T-shirts. Can I tell you? Thank you, Visit South Bend. That was so nice of you guys.
Curious to find out where John is traveling next? Head over to our website, mainstreets.tv, to learn more. Again, that's mainstreets.tv. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast and please leave us a review. It helps more people discover great programming like Main Streets. Look for us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram to follow all the action. John McGivern's Main Streets is produced by Plum Media in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Thanks for listening.